Hello everyone, good to see you all, or see you all in the chat at least. Nearly didn't happen. I went to go and start my live stream and it said streaming error, or couldn't start because of a problem. A little bit vague, but it turns out the problem was Restream. This may well be the last time that I use Restream. I was only really using it for Facebook and YouTube in any case now, having knocked on the head the Twitch and Twitter. So I did kind of think I'd just keep the Restream going so that I'm still posting to Facebook, even though most people don't watch live there. I do get people watching it on the replays, but I think I'll just go and manually repost if I want to do that, save the bother, and save on Restream because it is a little bit pointless. So yeah, tried it 3 times with Restream, rebooted Ecamm, tried it again, same problem, but then just went straight to YouTube and no problem. So there we go. We got here in the end though, so good to see you all. Hi Jeff, great to see you here. Dina, of course, always a pleasure. Aubrey, Keely, great to see you too. And Rich, and we've got, look who it is, it's Michael from the UK, and also Greg in Singapore, I believe. I think so. Yeah, great. Indeed, yes, the emoji says it all. So yeah, let me see where we are up to. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about consistency today. To be honest with you, these live streams, I always kind of have to have a little bit of a think the day before about what I'm going to talk about when I schedule it. And so, yeah, this is just something that's sort of cropped up with me a little bit over the past couple of days and, well, past couple of weeks, trying to get back into my sort of consistent routine. So I thought I'd just spend a little bit of time chatting about this. I do want to get, speaking of consistency and just jumping the gun a little bit here, I do want to get a bit more structured with these live streams. Today is not going to be one of those days. I'm not there yet. But just seeing the way that Doc started doing his streams with more structure to them, I think is sort of a nice way to go. And in fact, I mentioned last week, I think, that my early live streams always used to have a sort of topic that I was going to be talking about, and they were more kind of like, I suppose, a bit more like a regular one of my videos, and that's largely because there was no difference because there was no one watching those either. So that's kind of where I'm thinking of going with the direction of it all. I'll give you my little update. In fact, have I missed a few things out here? No, I think I've all caught up, and I appreciate the comments, Keely. So let's come to this. I'll just stick this up. This is where we are currently in my 365-day challenge. I have been consistent the past couple of weeks in terms of posting regularly, and oh, hello, Caleb. Great to see you here as well. I've been consistent in the past 2 weeks in terms of posting regularly, although this week technically I will have only done 6 videos instead of 7, so still one short for my video a day average. But at least I'm not falling any further behind so far with my videos, so we'll see how that goes. Although next week's going to be a bit complicated, I'll come to that in a minute. But yeah, 203 videos, day 267. So you can see there the shortfall that I've got to catch up with. I've got to do a video a day plus an extra 64 by mid-May. So See how that goes. I think it's around about 70 subscribers this week, so that's been sort of quite steady in terms of the number of subscribers a day coming on board. So to all you new lovely people, great to see you here. I know it's terrible, isn't it, Rich? Total slacker. And notably, I haven't done any more videos for my Zoom course this week. I had done some last week, and I'm almost there, to be honest with you. But next week's going to be a write-off as well. So I was trying to squeeze those in with last week as well. But this week, I've just not had the time for that either. But I won't dwell on that or even draw attention to it. I am indeed still on the purpose focus goal. So that is my goal for 365 videos in the year, which is, as I say, up on May the 14th. If I've got that right. So yeah, that's the plan. I'll just have a quick look at the analytics because there's a couple of things to sort of note. I don't dwell on this sort of personally in terms of I don't let it get to me or anything like that. However, it is interesting to note. So I do just like looking at these things. And obviously, all of these things are totally relative to the sizes of channels and things like that. But I did just want to share a couple of things. So with my my analytics, if I come to the lifetime view, just to sort of see, I always like looking at it how things have gone over time, sort of relatively. So this is basically the last couple of weeks. You can see where I've just started being consistent. Funnily enough, consistency does have an impact, and so putting out more videos means that more people are watching and being involved with them. So therefore, the watch time has increased. In fact, let me just switch this over. If I come into this one, with these charts, you get these basic charts like this, but then you can always click on the see more. And then from here, if I come into traffic, and then this one splits this by the actual video as well. But you can come over here and just click on this one, and it will just show you the lifetime. What are we looking at there? That looks like that's revenue. So that's another thing, actually, just while I'm on that. The revenue, so these spikes are basically from super chats that came in during previous live streams, but the ad revenue was kind of down here. But interestingly, these spikes, or specifically this spike, is actually from ad revenue. So there has been a bit of a jump, as I say. Draw your own conclusions after, I mean, I've only been monetized for just over a month, and these are sort of daily figures. So not enough of a sample size there to draw any real conclusions. However, you can see it was sort of down here, but then now that I've been posting a bit more regularly, then obviously more videos, more views, more advertising revenue. So it has gone up to so day before yesterday, $10 on ad revenue. The day before, $7. So not exactly retirement money, but still, totally appreciate it all. And it's sort of all helps towards the cost of running the channel, doesn't it? At the end of the day. But what I wanted to look at, rather than that one, is let me have a look at the traffic source, no, this one, views, and then let me come back to lifetime. For those that are interested, and I'll just put in total there. So yeah, you can see basically that the last couple of weeks there's just been a definite uptick that comes with that consistency. So really, I had a bit of an uptick in views here, and this was when I was being consistent. I don't know quite what caused this. It was one particular video. I think there was an Elgato product out. They're usually top performing videos, and thank you very much, Rich. That's much appreciated. And I'm just wondering why. Do you know what? This is ridiculous. I had turned on a widget, or I created a widget just before this stream, and I've clearly forgotten to activate it. Otherwise, I would have got a nice little widget come up on the screen. In fact, I'll show you how to do that afterwards because I just learned it from Doc. But thank you very much, Rich. That is much appreciated. So where was I? Oh, this spike here, yeah. This spike here where everything sort of jumped up a little bit was when I was still being my sort of original consistent, because here I was just posting basically an average of a video a day. There was something that happened here where I got this jump up, but then it kind of dropped back down slightly when this whole period here, this like 3 months, people keep talking to me about I'm consistent, but this whole 3 months I was not consistent. I was sort of 2 videos one week, 1 video another, 7 videos another, but it was just all over the place. So if I had been consistent all the way through here, no doubt that this chart would have continued on upwards, and I would have been a lot further along now. But never mind. Like I say, I'm not letting it get to me because I did have other things to prioritize. But the other way to look at this, though, rather than a daily chart, is sometimes because you do get all of these spikes, if you want to smooth it out, then you can, on this particular chart, on the advanced one, then you can change that over to weekly. And so that does give a much clearer picture rather, of how things were. I mean, they were pretty flat in terms of not much improvement sort of week on week. Obviously, there was a compounding of those views, but it was the same sort of numbers every week. So yeah, it was just there was one particular point where it just suddenly started going up, and then it reached this other sort of plateau. So I suppose the lesson from that is, if you are doing something on YouTube at whatever level, really, I guess, if things are just sort of going along and seemingly not improving. I mean, I could go and look at what was happening there, but I haven't really done anything different as such. I'm just doing more of the same sort of thing, but yeah, just sort of sticking with it, and then at some point there may well be just some random event that causes it to go up. But speaking of being the same, there was something that was said the other day about well, it was basically about my intros, and Doc mentioned about how there could be improvements made in that area. So I am going to, I've requested a full-on beatdown for everything else that could be improved with what I'm currently doing with the channel, because I have sort of felt like since then that actually there's not much that has changed really on my channel or the way that I do things. So although I am sort of heading towards the goal, and the whole point of the channel was for me to basically get better at this process of creating videos in one take. That was kind of one of the driving forces behind it, and also seeing what happens with a channel, you know, how the process of growing a channel. But it did sort of strike me the other day that, hang on a minute, I've not actually been sort of innovating in the actual channel itself. I've not been doing much different. And although I'm looking at these the analytics just out of interest, I'm not really doing a huge amount to really capitalize on it. And one of the things that I haven't done is I've talked about TubeBuddy and the analytics that you can do in terms of the videos, looking at videos that are technically underperforming in terms of click-throughs, but performing well once people get to them. I haven't done any of these sort of optimization. So I'd kind of thought in my mind that I would leave that as opposed to thinking anywhere else. I don't know whether you can, where else you can think other than your mind. But I had kind of thought that I would wait until like after the year was up and then go back and like revisit all of the content and try and see where I could optimize stuff. But it's a bit of a missed opportunity to not be trying to do that now. So yes, I've got a session with my content creation coach and yeah, hoping to get a bit of a beating and telling me where I should be focused. And if anybody in the chat has got anything that you think could be improved on, I'm always open to suggestions. There are no bad suggestions. Actually, I take that back. There can be some very terrible suggestions, but I'm always open to creative criticism. So let me just have a little look if I've missed anything. Oh, thank you. You just watched the compilation of the studio setup. Yeah, so I did that. I did all of those videos over. In fact, this is probably the first. Is it the first? I don't know. Maybe the first proper edited video that I've had. Well, I say proper. It was an edited video on the channel. That was the one I posted yesterday, which was basically a compilation of the 7 days of building out this studio. I mean, it's still not finished, but those were the 7 videos that I had over Vlogmas. So I just sort of stitched them all together because a lot of stuff got lost during Vlogmas, and also the thumbnail has got a picture of me photoshopped into a Santa's beard, so it's not necessarily it doesn't really tell people what is going to be in the video. So I thought, well, I'll stitch them all together because I did have quite a few comments and questions about things related to it, so I thought I'd just put them all together. And yeah, I say it was an edited video. It was literally stitching some videos together, so nothing really too technical, but I still hated it in terms of the process of doing it. Oh, hi, Collie. Great to see you here as well. Consistency is the key, isn't it? Let's have a little look. You're correct, Greg. That was when that spike is what Greg's talking about there. Yeah, that was when I started doing shorts. That's another thing about consistency. I've still not got back into those. I did intend to get back into those, but yeah, I'll have to. I'll probably park that till at least next weekend. One of your channels is still on the. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know if you've. How many watch hours have you got? Have you got the 4,000 watch hours? And I'd be interested to know what's the feedback that you've had from them. Have you queried it? Have you got any feedback from them? Have they given any indication as to why this is? Be really interested to know that. Or is it an AdSense thing? One of the ways that I was able to sort of, I suppose, slightly fast track the process, although to be honest, at 8,700, I'm really surprised at that. But yeah, one of the things with me was I did have my AdSense account already set up. I just basically linked it to my existing account. I know a lot of people, they reach the 1,000 and then they think, right, what have I got to do now? And one of the things is set up the AdSense account. And then in doing that, you sometimes have to wait for some time for Google to send the thing out to prove your address and various other different things. So definitely getting all of that stuff done in advance is a help. But yeah, guessing by the fact that you've got 8,700, I'm guessing that isn't the issue in this case. But it'd be really interested to hear more about that. That's exactly what I want. That is exactly what I want. I should put some context to that. If somebody just screenshots that, yeah, I'm definitely looking for a bit of a traditional kick up the arse, as we'd say in the UK, to tell me where I can improve. Oh yeah, the studio build things. So next month, are you going to release the updated video of your setup? Yeah, to be honest, I've still got lots of stuff to do in here. So I do intend to upgrade my lighting, upgrade the camera, actually add another camera. I've technically got another camera, but it's a little bit lame, really. It's just literally a webcam, and it's not even a high definition webcam. In fact, here we go. There it is. So you can see the image quality is pretty atrocious with that, really. So definitely need to upgrade that as well. So what I intended to do was do that. I've still not finished in the background as well. I've got some shelves to put in and some other stuff in the room itself. So I'll probably just try and get all of that done and then do a sort of update video of how things are looking. So that's the plan with that. That'll be the 4,000 watch hours, I guess. Great. And well, yeah, send me a screenshot and I'll have a little look. And the other software. Yeah, I always like watching studio build stuff and things like that. I mean, that's where I got ideas from as well. So, yeah. So this week, what did I have a look at this week? So there's a couple of things to do with automating keyboard Ecamm with Keyboard Maestro. I've still got a few more of those to do. I intended to do 4 of those this week, but then I got distracted by the new Ecamm Live beta with the virtual audio. I need to do probably a bit of an updated video on that because there is one thing that a few people asked, which certainly wasn't clear in the video that I made. Oh, hey, Kevin, great to see you. Which was that the virtual audio from Ecamm is still a one-way thing at the moment. It's a one-way thing. So if you're using virtual audio into, let's say, Discord first, because Keely's here, or Zoom or Teams or anything like that, then it is still like a one-way thing. So if you were to, which is to be honest, is the use case that most people have. They usually want to use Ecamm to do their presentations, things like that, have it feeding into those applications, and then be able to have stuff like, sound effects, or if they're playing a video as part of it, have that going in. So that is the sort of one-way audio traffic, if you like, going into that. If you were doing something where you'd got people on interview mode in Ecamm Live as well, and you wanted to have the sort of two-way audio, of the people in Zoom also feeding back into your interview mode, then for that you would still need something like loopback or something. But hopefully there might be some other integration or something like that to come in further down the line. Who knows? But for the time being, that is the way that it's working at the moment. So I'll probably do an updated video at some point just explaining that and the whole sort of workflow behind it. But it is a great feature because it does just make the whole thing easier. I know loopback was always it was always a bit of a pain for a lot of people. And although technically it's a relatively straightforward program to use, the concept behind it and the idea behind it caused problems, I know, for a lot of people. So yeah, the fact that that is now not needed for the vast majority of people. In fact, it wasn't needed for a lot of people in any case, to be honest. If you're only using Ecamm to use your camera into Zoom with effects, it was only if you needed the audio to be going in there as well that this thing was necessary. But yeah, so hopefully there'll be a lot more people not asking tech support questions related to Zoom in the Ecamm group and on other tech creators channels as well. So yeah, and there was another video that I did this week. Oh, and then it was just the old studio build video. So next week I've got a bit of an issue because I'm actually going on my first trip away for business that I've been on in almost 2 years. I did go pop down to Bangkok for a day last year, but I'm going to be away basically Monday to Friday this week. So I'm just trying to figure out how to do my keep my video count up, and I'm either going to do a block of them this weekend, so either today or tomorrow. But I thought it might be fun to try and sort of do some on the road, as it were. Although I won't be actually on the road, I'll be just sitting in a room somewhere else, so it shouldn't be technically that hard. I'll just figure out what I'm going to take with me. Don't want to be taking all my camera and everything like that, so I'll probably just use my camo camera on using the iPad or something like that, and then still probably take the Stream Deck. Or could I get away with just using the Stream Deck mobile app? I guess I probably could, thinking about it. And then, yeah, just see how that goes, actually doing stuff, because I've got quite kind of used to having everything where I know where it is on this larger screen. And so it's like a 43-inch monitor. And so I've got all my Ecamm stuff on one side, and then all the different windows, like this window or this window or this one. They're all just sort of laid out exactly where I know where they're going to be. And so, or where I can see them all, basically. So just doing everything from just the laptop screen itself will be an interesting challenge. So I may yet give that a go. I will be back here for my live stream next week, though, so I won't have to do that one on the road, but it'll be interesting to see how I get on just doing it all on my old laptop. It does mean I'll be back onto my older laptop. I'll have to dust it off and see how that goes. I've got kind of used to the M1 Mac now, so there is that. So let me just stick this thing up a minute. If anybody fancies having a little chat about their consistent approach to, in fact, that's not the right one. Hang on a minute. If anyone fancies having a chat about consistency and how to maintain it in their content creation and the importance of it to them, then as always, welcome anybody who fancies popping on for a chat. So there is this constant thing about it where it's easy to sort of look from the outside and see that somebody's posting, and so they are being consistent. It is only in these last 2 weeks, though, that I really feel like I've got back to where I was in terms of just getting up and making a video, which was always my routine in the beginning. And so the sort of 3, probably even 4 months, actually, October, November, December, and the first half of January, it really just wasn't at all. And I was trying to find time to fit videos in because I wasn't able to make the time in the morning. I had to basically prioritize other things. So it is only these last couple of weeks that have just sort of settled down a bit and I've got back into the routine. But there's still things that I need to add back into it, which is namely the YouTube Shorts. I do still want to start producing those and have like at least one of those, well, one of those going out a day, but have them still relevant to the content so that they don't just become basically an annoyance, which is probably what I did when I started with those, because I put out like 3 a day. Yeah, it was probably not the best approach for that, but it is something that I want to get back into, so I just need to block that time and just make them. I'm thinking the best way to do that is to just actually make 30 of them, because of the way that I would film them. Just again, one take doing them, and then it is something that I could something that I should technically easily be able to do. If it's 30 of them for a whole month's worth, then technically it should only take me, I would say 2 hours if it's basically 30 minutes of actual content, but then there's always that little bit of time before and afterwards as well. So I definitely need to get back into that. But at the moment, any sort of blocks of time that I had free, then I will just still be polishing off this Zoom course, which has just been a bit of a drag in terms of me actually being able to find the time to get to do it. So, but that will be top of the agenda when I come back next weekend from my trip. I don't think I'll be able to really do that effectively while I'm away, because I do need to have the setup for that, because a lot of that I'm doing with 2 computers as well, sort of demonstrating stuff with Zoom and things like that. So definitely need to be doing that here in the studio rather than from a hotel room somewhere. So I'll probably finish that off beginning of the following week. So yeah, consistency easiest is a planned schedule for a certain live stream. One of the channels I managed, we have have 3 under 16-minute morning shows, so it forces us to stay focused. Yes, that's a great approach, that is. I mean, these live streams, I've only missed one of them. In fact, no, I missed, there's 2. There's one of them that I just basically didn't schedule because it was on Christmas Day, so I figured I'd be with the kids rather than here on the live stream. And then there was another one where my old basement studio was on the verge of being flooded, so I'd sort of moved everything out of it, and the place was a mess. And I suppose I should have really just gone with it and found a way to do it, but I didn't. So I've only missed 2. So definitely having a schedule where you think, right, I'm definitely going to be here. I am always here at this time. With my sort of tutorial style videos, the rest of them, the recorded ones, I don't know why I don't do those as lives. I think it's just yeah, it's just those things are just I find to have the concentration of just being able to go in and do them focused. Then that's definitely the way that I need to do those. But it is the same with anything. It's just making the time for it and blocking that time. So that's why in the beginning I was quite consistent. I was doing a video edit every day more or less. It was because I did always have this time in the morning, and it was time when I was free from distractions as well. So creating that time where you know that you aren't going to be disturbed is always a winner there as well. And so because it was always kind of 4 till 6 in the morning, like now it's 5:30 in the morning, I know that I'm not going to get disturbed. Nobody's going to be phoning me. Nobody in the house is up at this time as well. It's only me. But yeah, so that was it's just that just these last few months I've just had some other things that have taken over my my morning time. But definitely, yeah, scheduling it is a great approach, and doing it live. Then you've got people who are waiting. I mean, that's why there's been a few times I've not really felt like doing this live stream, to be honest. Like 2 weeks ago, I was feeling quite rough and just really didn't feel like doing it. But I did come on anyway because I knew it was scheduled. So there you go. What are you going to do? So definitely a good approach. Oh right, yeah. The one that intro. Great work on that. So yeah, the shorts are useful for promoting stuff. My other thing with them as well was my videos obviously tend to be well, I don't say it's long or short, but they're about 30 minutes, which for me, I think, for a tutorial video, it could be considered a little bit on the long side. I did do a 4.5-hour eCam live tutorial. That is definitely on the long side. But yeah, the thing about the shorts for me is I wanted to make them so that they're all still like tutorials at the end of the day, but they're more kind of like quick tip style things as well. Although I have done, I did a series of Zoom ones promoting the as yet unlaunched Zoom course. I did a series on TubeBuddy and various different things like that. So it was a kind of thing of, yeah, my regular subscribers, if they see them in their feed, then it's still going to be something that I can just jump into that and get a quick sort of 1 minute tip or something like that. That was my sort of approach to them. And indeed, they can be repurposed for IG and TikTok. And in fact, my shorts really started as TikTok videos. I thought, I forget who it was. In fact, I think it was Ash Borland was on Doc's show a while back, and they were talking about TikTok. So I promptly went and set up a TikTok account, recorded 30 TikTok videos, posted 5 a day for 6 days, and then didn't post anymore for another few months. So there we go to the consistency thing again. There's no point just darting out of the gate and then falling flat on your face. But that's what I did. But yeah, it is good that they can obviously be sort of cross-posted. I'm always a little bit wary about just posting the same stuff to different places, but I do feel that, you know, if there is a different audience on TikTok that are more used to that sort of format and that sort of length of video, obviously, then it's providing hopefully some value to anybody who watches it there. But then equally, there's a lot of people who are subscribers to my YouTube channel who I'm sure aren't even on TikTok. So it is just sort of giving them that content as well. So I'm not really too worried about that in terms of just posting them to all of the places. So yeah, that is what I have been doing as well. And so the shorts, yeah, this is the thing. This is repurposed content. This is the constant dilemma that I'm in. Capturing content, repurposing content to me just feels like too much work. It shouldn't do, I know, but it really does feel like work because at the moment I basically record a video, the video's done, it's done, that's it. If I was going to repurpose any content like from a live stream, now that I've got this timestamp thing, that was one of the videos that I did the week before, so I've got a timestamp thing for my Stream Deck so that it's capturing timestamps, then it means I can basically just hit a button and it will capture the timestamp. And so in theory, I could go back and actually, cut out that little snippet and post that as a short. But if I've got some little bit of information like that is useful for me personally, it's actually easier for me to just open up Ecamm and do it again, for the minute, rather than going and getting the video, taking it into a video editor, opening it up. So I still don't think I'm going to go down the repurposing route just yet. I suppose if I was doing stuff where I was doing like an interview show or something like that and wanted to extract something, or if it was like I suppose a promo trailer for something that was edited together. But yeah, for me, it's still a case of it's just easier for me to just record them in one take and then have them done. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I still have not done any repurposing of content. Yeah, each platform has a different user group for the most part. So yeah, they are different sort of separate audiences, aren't they? Well, thank you very much. That is a good point. Yeah, and the people who follow people in multiple places will be happy to support wherever they see it. So I've still not got my head around the way that shorts are served, as it were, on YouTube as well. So it may be the case that some people aren't seeing it on YouTube, but would see it on TikTok and vice versa. I still totally not got my head around TikTok in general, to be honest. In terms of where the videos are served, I've got a kind of inkling that they are more served in your local area or country, I should say. So I'm suspecting that my TikTok videos are getting shown to a lot more people in Thailand, for example, than they are to people in the US. That's my sort of suspicion about that. I don't know if that's true. It's just kind of my little gut feeling on that. So it'd be interesting to know about that. I know you can obviously pay to do, have paid promotion of TikTok videos, so then you can pick geographies and stuff like that. But I'm certainly not going down the the paid promotion route on TikTok. It's just not an avenue for me at the moment. Oh, and by the way, Caleb, you'll notice that I now have a timestamp already in my description because Caleb mentioned in the Discord about having a timestamp for the countdown timer on live streams. So because my countdown is always exactly the same length, then I've just put it into my predefined. My stock description that I put into all of my my live streams. So now it does just say 00 countdown and then 3 minutes 10 or whatever it is. Welcome. So anybody who's watching on the replay can just click the timestamp to get straight past the countdown. So yeah, if you can use relevant tags, they can be promoted to a niche. So I do tagging in my my YouTube, my TikTok videos, and in fact I probably do it more in TikTok than I do in YouTube. So this is another thing that I'm a little bit unaware of, is the relevance of hashtags or how well they work in YouTube itself. So I tend to put them, like if I'm talking about something specific like Keyboard Maestro, Stream Deck, Ecamm Live, I tend to hashtag those like even in the title itself. Part of the reason for that is when I cross-post the video to Twitter, which I do using TubeBuddy, then it means that the title has already got the hashtag in, so then it's got the hashtag on Twitter. So that was kind of my thoughts about doing that. I'm not sure about YouTube, how useful they are or how that affects search. It's just not something that I've investigated. So it'd be interesting to find out about that, because I could probably be putting just general hashtags in as well if it was going to make a difference, but it's not something I've done. And I only really kind of noticed this when, in fact, it was when I was making that compilation video, in fact, of the studio build, because I copied the titles that I'd put in my other videos and copied those over into the description of this one. And then I just noticed that when I posted it, it had got like hashtag Keyboard Maestro, because one of the related videos that I'd done was about that, but there were no other hashtags. So I went in and just sort of added in some more. So be interested to see about that. But with TikTok, I always make the title basically, you know, a selection of relevant hashtags. So it's, the timestamp for the countdown. Thank you, Caleb. I'm so pleased that you're so proud of me. Not as familiar with YouTube as Instagram. So Instagram's another thing that I'm kind of like not really doing effectively. Should we say that? I do post occasionally. I post a varying mix of things. Sometimes it has been kind of TubeBuddy milestone announcements. Other times it's just random pictures of the studio or something like that. Or if I've been on somebody else's show, then I've posted the picture of that. But I'm really totally inconsistent with my my Instagram approach. I mean, TikTok's another thing. That's just kind of when I make the shorts, I'll post them to there as well. But Instagram, I really need to have a little think and take a good hard look at myself and what I'm doing on there, because it's a bit hit and miss, to say the least. Lots of room for improvement on that. I mean, the thing is with these things, it's kind of like I've got the understanding to do it, excuse me, a lot better than I am doing, and to do it with a lot more commitment. Because there are other things that I do where I've got Instagram accounts where I am doing them a lot more effectively. But with with this YouTube channel, I haven't really got into the swing of adding it in. And I suppose it's because there are like a lot of moving parts. There are lots of different things that you could be doing, lots of things that I could be doing in addition to the channel. So the YouTube, I could be ramping up my my Twitter side of things, and the Instagram. It's just all coming down to a time thing. But definitely the Instagram has been one that's been on the back of my mind, that I need to just be getting a bit more consistent with this. And that can be done. There's not really a huge amount of excuse for Instagram in my view, for me personally, because I know that I can do things with scheduling and stuff like that to be a lot more effective. So definitely something that I want to work on as well. So if it's I'm just trying to get my head around that. I don't know why. I've just had a total brain meltdown. On many, I get what you're saying. Yes, many platforms. Yeah. I don't know. I should have been able to work that out, but for some reason, my brain just melted at the end of it. Yeah. So there is there is differences between all of these as well. But yeah, I definitely need to get a better sort of Instagram game on. But yeah, it's just this thing about getting consistent with the videos again. I definitely do want to think about how to actually improve on the general content as well. So I'm still doing the same basic things. I've changed. He totally broke me. It was one little glitch. It was like one little glitch in R2D2. See, I can't even say that now. In R2D2, which, by the way, was a great comment that I got over the last couple of days. In fact, let me find this comment. It was a brilliant comment. It genuinely did make my day. No, it's gone now. I can't find it. It was a brilliant comment, though. It said something like, skip to 8 minutes 30 or something like that if you don't want to watch 8 minutes of R2D2 having a stroke. It did make me laugh. That was on one of my Stream Deck videos, and it was probably because of my generally motionless, monotonous tone. But yeah, that's Kevin just totally. See, there we go. Kevin broke me. It was not R2D2. It was C3PO. There we go. I'm done. Catch you next week. So yeah, if anybody has got any suggestions of totally critical reviews of what's been put out on my channel over the past 8 months, then always happy to hear it. Yes, indeed. Bad Kevin. Come on. Go and stand in the corner. You've broken me. Always happy to hear feedback. I've got some ideas myself of things that could be improved upon. There's lots of things that you probably don't notice, but I just always notice with. That's all right. There's lots of things that people perhaps don't notice, but there are still things that are little sticking points for me. Things that I can definitely improve on, for example, every time I go to end a stream or a video, I know where the button is. It's just here. I can touch it without even looking. But for some reason, I've got this little thing where when I'm going to end the stream, I always just look down. And I do it the same on the videos as well. Like at the end of nearly every video, I know exactly where the button is. I can put my finger on it and thumb on it, but it's kind of just like a little thing that I do. So there's lots of little things like that that don't really affect the content as such, but they're just little things that I need to iron out to be that little bit more efficient with what I'm trying to do. But then there are these other things that are like glaring things that could be improved upon. So one of them was this thing of the intros and how, to be honest, I've been wanting to get rid of my little intro sequence, that little animated thing that I have at the beginning, this one. I mean, it's a waste of time, really, isn't it? I mean, what's it there for? It's just there to as a little title sequence, but it doesn't really add to the content. So I've been thinking about just totally getting rid of that. And the only reason I haven't done it up until now is because I've just got this little comfortable little workflow where I press a button and it records and starts some music. I press another button and it brings in that title sequence. And then when that title sequence is finished, takes me into another one, and my little lower third pops out. And it's all just been comfortable, I suppose. And I haven't thought about like an easier way to do it, but that little thing at the beginning, I could definitely do something a lot shorter. I mean, I have got like a stinger somewhere, which is basically where's it gone? Let me have a little look. I've got it here somewhere. Something. Oh, you see now there, the size of it. What's gone on there? That shows you how long it is since I've used it, because the size of it is all screwed up, isn't it? Never mind. I'll have a little look for it. So basically, having something that's quicker, I think, could certainly speed things up, so that if somebody's interested in what I've given in my little hook at the beginning, telling them what I'm going to cover, then they don't need to don't need to stay through it. So you think that it's not a problem to have that, I mean. It isn't really, is it? It's not like a major thing. It's not like I'm sitting through, making people sit through 30 seconds or a minute of titles, but it's kind of superfluous to requirements in my case. It's a pattern interrupt that really isn't that long. It's not like that's true. Yeah, it's it just could be. Yeah, it could be a little bit. It could be a little bit smoother. So these are the sorts of things that I'm thinking about. So yeah, open to any suggestions. And clicked this morning. You clicked your outro, and then the stream didn't end, so I was live talking away until someone contacted me. Right. Well, that is that is a little bit concerning, isn't it? I would hate that, but yeah. I mean, I've got mine automated so that when I do my outro, it does just end the stream as well, and it gives me 20 seconds so that I can put those YouTube end screen elements on and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely get into the habit of checking that. So what do I think is missing or would like to improve in it? This is the thing, really. It's not that there's anything like major that I think like, oh, this is absolutely terrible or anything like that. But it's just that there's always room for improvement, isn't there? In fact, I think I just missed over. Yeah, Jeff. I mean, this is the thing about being a recovering perfectionist. It doesn't need to be perfect to make me happy, where it would have done before. So I'm quite happy with being unhappy about it now. So I can be very unhappy about the way things are going, but still be totally happy and not let it worry me, which is something that didn't used to be the case. I did used to really get stressed and frustrated over the imperfections, whereas now I don't really mind so much. But that doesn't mean to say that I'm just going to let everything go to total crap. I still want to aim for something. Just to answer your question or your point, Caleb, it's it's not that there's any one thing that's like, oh, this is terrible. It's just a case of where is that there are areas that are sort of quick fixes, things that are easy to improve upon. And could I make things tighter? I mean, there are some things that I just won't do. Like for example, if you want to get the absolute best retention rate on YouTube videos, then people will tell you that using the old jump cut, so you're removing all of the breaths out between sentences to really keep people hooked and engaged and not giving them time to their mind to wander and switch off. Technically, that is something that might give you higher retention rates. But personally, I can't stand those sorts of videos that are just deliberately made to be ultra fast paced, just so that you feel like you don't switch off from them. That might work in the vast majority of cases, but for me, I just sort of switch off from those because I don't like that particular style. So there are some things. It's not like I'm chasing. Not like I'm chasing views, retention rate, and all that sort of stuff for the sake of it. I've still got my core values, which is the main driver. But it's just thinking about like where could things be improved upon, really. So it would be interesting to know what other people think of the little title sequence and whether it actually, in the cold light of day, does it actually add any value? Is it worth being there? I mean, they've clicked on the video, so they know that it's Take One Tech having a little silly animation like that. Is that actually adding any value to the user? And if you think about how many videos I've done, if let's just say there are some real gluttons for punishment who have subscribed and watch every video, then add up all of those videos for 365 videos and add in all those little time sequence. I'm taking minutes out of people's lives. It's interesting. The Irish connections. I'm not sure that I follow that now, actually. So yeah, I get that it is a sort of trademark. It is a trademark, but I suppose so is just a sort of logo and the recovering perfectionist, the brand recognition. So I'm getting some positive feedback for the titles here. I'm just thinking maybe I could just tighten it down a bit, something like that. Hey, Chris, great to see you. Not seen you around for a while. I know it's very late in the UK, so but yeah, great to see you. Hope all's well. And in your intro, add the title of the video Yeah, that's a good idea. Hang on a minute. I've just only just realised something you said there. YouTube does optical character recognitions on the frames of your video. Is that a fact? That is unbelievable. Does it really do that? Oh, that could change everything if that is the case. I had no idea about that. Right, my mind is whirring now, because if that is a fact, then that is great. I'll look into that. No problem. I hope it's all being good, Chris. Hope you're doing extremely well, and the busyness is a very positive thing for you. So there does seem to be quite some support for my little intro there. Maybe I'll just try and reduce it half the time of it. I was looking at my my video things. Let's have a little look at this, because I do keep a separate running Excel file that I've got some additional video metrics in. So I catalogue them all, and I can tell you, where's it gone now? I'm figuring that by the time I have finished my 365 videos in a year challenge, it's going to be about a week of recorded content. So kind of non-stop. If you were to sort of watch all the videos end to end, it would be actually a week of content. At the moment, it is 109.5 hours of actual video content. So if you were to literally just go and watch end to end all of it, at the moment it's coming up to 4 or 5 days worth. So by the time I reach the middle of May, I'm guessing it will be around about a week of content. I'm not sure where I was going with that. There was some reason why I was. It's just the amount of time that it's all taking. So 7 to 10 seconds is the sweet spot for the little intro before the content. So that's. I mean, I try and keep my little sort of "this is for you" if sort of intros. I do try and keep those quite tight. Maybe I'm sweating it over that little intro. I'm not sure, but I might still try and tighten it up, make it a little bit shorter. So I see. So this optical character recognition, this has got me interested now. I'm just going to actually find out the answer to this right now. Does YouTube OCR frames in your video? Let's have a little look. So this is telling me that how I can do it. Maybe I need to do this. Maybe I need to do this offline. Maybe it's not the ideal viewing, but I had never heard that before. That is amazing. I know that we can do it, but I had not heard that they do it. You can handle the truth. Yeah, I mean that's actually quite amazing. I'm definitely going to look into that, because one of the things that I've done when I've done sort of planned videos, like I've done the updates on Ecamm or things like that, then I'll usually for those I'll have an overlay done in. I'll have a presentation done in Keynote that I bring in as a screen share overlay with green screen, so that then I get like the little titles up on the screen and stuff like that. So that would be a way to actually sort of punctuate the different parts of the video as well. I know that Doc has started doing this a bit more now as well with his live streams, so having sections and putting up just the bullet of that section. So that's really interesting that they do OCR, and having that up in the little intro might be a little bit tricky to build that into the actual intro itself. Coming back to Michael's point, I'll have to have a think about that. But thank you so much for mentioning that, because I I'm definitely going to be looking into that now. That's another little thing. I also need to use the keyword explorer and stuff like that in TubeBuddy. I had a bit of a fluff last week when I was talking about tags in YouTube, and then looking at the keyword explorer and getting those two conflated, because there's a big difference between keywords and tags, and it was tags that I was not so hot on these days with YouTube. I don't spend as much time sort of thinking about them, but definitely keywords for the SEO benefits of the YouTube videos. That's something else where there's definitely probably room for a little bit of improvement in being the searchability, or discoverability is the word I'm looking for my content as well. What's one feature you would love to have added to my streams? Do you mean in terms of the what do I want to add in to my streams to improve upon them? Hey, Paul, great to see you slipping in here. And what's the one thing I'd like to have improved on my stream? So definitely a bit more structure. I do always feel like these are rambling in terms of the direction of them. I just start off with one thing and then go off on several different tangents, and often don't know whether I've even covered what I intended to cover in any case, which is quite different to my videos, really, because the videos do tend to be on point, to a degree. I still waffle, that's a given, but I think a little bit more structure to the live streams would definitely be good. Sometimes I wonder if I've been constructive in the way that I've talked about things or demonstrated things in the live streams, just because of this sort of rumbling nature of it. It might not feel this way for you, I'm not sure, but certainly from this side, that's the way it often feels. Doing different things like just neatening up things. Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad you like the tangents. So I appreciate that comment. So Keely, I have a suggestion. The structure you're talking about will give you the chance for more pattern interrupts with visuals, scene changes, etc. That is true. So having those sort of blocks, and I guess sort of like Doc's doing, isn't it, really, with putting those things up to have punctuated points throughout the thing will sort of add to that structure, but also, as you say, those little pattern interrupts as well. So definitely need to work on that. There was a few things that there was one thing that, in fact, that I've been saying since, in fact, it was since I got monetized and I got the first super chat, and then realized I hadn't got a widget to come up to just actually acknowledge people. So I've been saying for 4 weeks, I need to go and make one of those. I use Stream Elements, so I should be able to just go and make a graphic. Anyway, so then today on the Ecamm stream with Doc, he was talking about Nerd or Die. So I thought, right, well, save me the hassle of actually going and doing it. Why don't I just go and get one of those, and then that'll save me the time. So let me just show you what I did there, because he mentioned this on the stream this morning for me, this afternoon, this evening for you, who knows, wherever you are. So I just went over to Nerd or Die, and then I went to this shop, and then I looked for alerts and sounds, and then there's various different ones here. And which one did I get? I got it was just a sort of plain one. This one, Focus. I didn't bother with all the overlays, so it was $30 for all the overlay packs and everything like that. I literally just wanted some little widgets to pop up on the screen. So there was somewhere else I got it from, actually. In fact, here it is. It was the alerts, so it's $10. So save me opening any sort of package to make these. I thought for $10, it's a no-brainer. So I did that. And one thing that Doc mentioned on his stream today was the fact that with these things, they are basically like a one-click install. So you've got this super, what do they call it? Instant install, or one-click install. So what does that actually mean? So what I did was, when I downloaded it, I got this thing, and it came as a zip file. And then in the zip file, basically what you've got is you've got either Streamlabs or Stream Elements. I'm using Stream Elements and I wanted to install it in my YouTube. So I just clicked this, which is a URL, and you just double click on that. And then it will take you through to Stream Elements. Now, I'd already got a Stream Elements account, so that's what my previous widgets, although they're just basically the ones built into Stream Elements, which are pretty ordinary. So I went into here, and when I double clicked on the link in the download, it basically just brought this straight into my Stream Elements, open up Stream Elements and put the thing in here. So this is it, focus alerts. And then from there, what I was able to do was go in and make a few changes. So that one was basically just all black. Stream Elements is not paid, actually. No, it's a free service as far as I remember. If I'd paid for it, I would have been using it a lot more. So yeah, it is free. There are I think there are perhaps paid levels, but for what I'm about to show you, it is just free. So that Stream what's it called, Nerd or Die, to actually buy the overlays and stuff like that you pay for. But as I say, for what I'm going to show you now, it's just $10. But then Stream Elements itself is free. And what Stream Elements allows you to do is build out a layout of where you want these different things to appear. And then this then becomes a widget that you can use in Ecamm. So yeah, these things now, basically this is like if you think of this as the screen, this is the screen area. And so if I come into down here, we can emulate and we can simulate what's going to happen, like with a subscriber alert or a super chat or something like that. So if I simulate this now, now it will actually appear on our main regular scene. So you're going to probably see it twice. In fact, have I toggled it off? No, it should be there. So there you can see it's shown it on the Stream Elements screen, but where you can see it now over the top is also just actually on. It's now coming through on my actual stream as well. But you can just go in here. These are the alerts, and then you've got settings, and then basically there's different things for a subscriber alert, member alert, super chat alert, or a tip. And then for each of these, you can go in and edit them. So you can go and change the things like the color, the font, all that sort of stuff, the size, the position, and everything like that. So you can go in and tweak these. So whatever you download from Nerd or Die, don't know why I keep forgetting that. Whatever you download from there, then once you actually bring it in, you'll be able to tweak things like the colors and things like that. So so yeah, I went in and just downloaded it. I think the original one was just black and white, so I just added in my colors. So if I just come back to this regular view for a moment, and then I'll do that again, I'll simulate it. It helps if you switch it on. So it didn't pop up, unfortunately, when Rich made his very generous tip. But it should have done something like this and popped up on the screen. So that is the way that it works, basically. This is still pretty plain as they go. I mean, you can get all sorts of fancy ones as well, but that was just something that looks a little bit better than the one that I had before on the built-in Stream Elements one. Great for you to stop by, Kevin. I really appreciate you coming by, and great to see you. So nap time's over. And for me, another nap time is never very far away. I am a bit of a power napper. In fact, that was something that Jeff mentioned earlier that I forgot to mention. Yes, not sleeping these days. I was up at 1 o'clock this morning. So normally I'm up at 3, but I was up at 1 o'clock. And thank you very much, Paul Duncan. You've seen your name's up in lights. So it does work then. So that's great. That's the first time that's actually been legitimately triggered and working. So thank you very much, Paul. Much appreciated. So oh yeah, I see. That's it is paid. And yeah, it's pretty good. So then when you come to do this in your Ecamm, the way that you do it in, let me just come back to Stream Elements a minute, because I've sort of missed out a little piece of the jigsaw here. Basically in Stream Elements, once you have made any changes, make sure you go ahead and save it up here. But then there is a little button here, which is this one, which copies a link. So that copies the link of the overlay URL. And then what we're going to do is come into Ecamm. So I'm going to come in here and I'll just zoom in like this. And so then what we're going to do is add in an overlay here. So you come to this little world symbol. Am I sharing that? Yeah, I think so. So then you come into this one here with the little globe symbol, which is basically a widget. And then what you do here is you just type in what you want it to be called and then paste that URL into there. And then you can leave this as it is, or you can have it fill the entire frame, but you may need to just move it around. One thing about widgets is you can actually crop them in the same way that you can with any other overlay, in fact. So this sort of white outline that I've got here, that's the outline of that particular widget. So you can still press the Option key and crop it. So I'll do that, by the way, with my Buy Me a Coffee widget. So that my Buy Me a Coffee widget is somewhere up at the top. Where is it? In fact, it is in here. This one, Buy Me a Coffee widget. So what I did with the Buy Me a Coffee widget is I didn't want to have the thing at the bottom because I had sort of created my own little widget here that constantly pops up with my little Buy Me a Coffee link. So I only really wanted the one which was the thing for when somebody actually goes on to Buy Me a Coffee, and that one pops down. So I just cropped the rest of it out because I just use the Option key on the edge of it and crop that out. So just bear that in mind. If you are playing around with widgets, they are croppable as well. So yeah, that is how to basically add those things in from Stream Elements. So how on earth did I get onto this topic, seeing as how yeah, Paul's just got up the little squirrel. I haven't got the squirrel sound effect on yet. I should have. Canon for the win. I'm not sure what that's a reference to. Oh, it's just the fact that I'm using a Canon. Not for long, I'm afraid. I am going Team Sony. So I am going Team Sony, I'm afraid. Yeah. So I've got my camera is a 10-year-old Canon EOS 60D, and I am going to be going over to the Sony camp, I'm afraid. I'm not really a camera guy, to be honest. When I bought this camera, it was I'm so sorry to disappoint you, Caleb. When I bought my this camera, it was before my my first daughter was born, and so I had visions of wanted a camera obviously to capture those precious family moments. And the trouble is with these cameras is they are well, certainly that one is it was often on a shelf more than it was being put to use. And I think I had visions because it's almost like the ultimate tech gadget, really. I mean, think of all the settings, all the buttons, things like that. It should really be right up my street. I mean, photography in general should be, because there's a technical aspect to it. There's all sorts of different things that technically should just tick my boxes for things that I'd be interested in. But I just never really got into photography. So yeah, it was it probably had not been used until I started doing my my channel. It had not been really used. I mean, I did do some videos, I suppose the year before that as well. But generally, yeah, it's just those family moments. The phones we've got in our pocket now are generally the ones that we reach for. And yeah, so I'm afraid, Caleb, I'm going to be leaving Team Canon. Although not that I was really a team player, and I'll be Team Sony. The dog squirrel sound, yeah. I think I have got it somewhere, but yeah, I need to sort out I've got a few that I need to add on to my my Stream Deck. I've spent too much time with Doc and the others. Yeah, that might be it. The influence has rubbed off on me. I mean, to be honest with you, my approach to this has generally been watch what Doc's doing and then do that. So, I mean, guess where I've heard about these lights that I've got behind me, the Nanlite Pavo tubes? Well, I heard about them from him first. I mean, obviously he's now upgraded to some other ones, so I've got some other ones that are on my list, on my wish list now as well. But yes, and it's only a matter of time, I suppose, before the Rodecaster and the SM7B find their way onto my desk. Although I still have not found it. I'm still not convinced by the Rodecaster, so I'll see. I might keep with the old minimal MV7 for the time being. But yeah, that's definitely where the Sony influence has come from. I can guarantee it. So where did this all come from, though? This came from what I would like to improve on my... Oh, that's how I got into the Stream Element stuff, was because you had asked the question, Caleb, what would I like to improve on my live stream? So that is one of them. It's just sort of generally production quality, adding in some more structure to the live streams as well. Although I appreciate that you appreciate the rambling nature, and you're also holding off on the Rodecaster. So there's is it just you, Keely, and me that are holding off on it? I suppose there are others as well, but it's yeah, I'm not finding the sort of need to jump on it. With sound effects can be triggered by Stream Deck and so on. So yeah, we'll have to see. But it's been on my list since day one, and I still haven't completely scrubbed it off yet. So we'll find out. How is your finger, by the way? I've got to ask. I hope everything is. I hope it's not hurting too much after the little kitchen incident. It is, isn't it? It is. It's the thought leaders. I'm following the true thought leaders of the group in terms of the Rodecaster. And Caleb, you've got a digital version of the Rodecaster. What's that? What do you mean by that? Is that like a sort of soundboard or something like that? Because obviously we can do that with Stream Deck as well, with all the sound effects. Yeah, not pleasant. Well, I hope it's feeling better soon. And fair play for carrying on. Just to give this some context, Dina cut a finger during a live cooking show and just carried on. Just totally carried on. Like the show's got to go on. That's commitment. So yeah, interested to know what that is though, Caleb, because that's always been my thing. I can see how with like fading in music and stuff like that with the Rodecaster. Then I can see how that's something, but obviously I don't have any music that I fade in and out as such. I did always think for my podcast, which only ever made it to 3 episodes, and speaking of consistency, that is the topic. I was consistent for 3 weeks and then just stopped with that one as well. Oh, hey, Anna, great to see you here. Yeah. It's just not something that's found its way in to my workflow. And in fact, one thing that was missing with the, if you were going to replace the Rodecaster with a Stream Deck and the sort of built-in functions of Ecamm, with the Loop Deck, you can now obviously use the knobs to control the volume and stuff like that. But that is another thing that I have still got this on my desk, my Loop Deck, and I've still not gone through and set it all up. I mean, I have had other things that have got in my way, but there's something about it. I don't know what it is. There's something about it that has just added some. There's too much friction to it for me to just sort of build it into my workflow. So I've always thought, well, I'm just going to have like a weekend where I just dig into it and get it all set up and really figure it out. But it's not something that I've done, which is it's almost unbelievable for me, to be honest, that I've not gone through that process yet, having had it since when? I can't remember. November, is it? So there's something there that's not quite gelling with me, even though I've not even dug into it properly yet. It's quite bizarre. I can't put my finger on it. I'm going to have to do a full thesis and evaluation of my psychological state related to that, because it is a bit weird. And well, of course, Keely, that is testament itself. I mean, I'm talking about not having had a Rodecaster and not sure that I need one, and you were the opposite. You actually did have one and then realised that you didn't need it. So I think I just need to scrub it off my list, don't I? It's just it's total gas, that one is. On my part, gear acquisition syndrome. Yeah. So, Fadini, yes. Hoping you have a swift recovery. The food did look good, though. The food did look good. So yeah, that is. So Keely, you found the loop deck high friction 2 and put a weekend into it. I don't know. It's just funny, isn't it? There's definitely a little thing that is holding me back with that. It's not that it's holding me back. It's just that it hasn't immediately excited and inspired me in the same way that the Stream Deck did for some reason. It's a bit weird. We've had this conversation before, though. I will try Monogram at some point, I think, but I won't go down that rabbit hole again today. Rodecaster Pro and SM7B for that late night radio voice. So the thing about that is, how would we go about, I say we, I'm talking about me, how would I go about replicating that without the actual Rodecaster? Because that is more the microphone, I think, isn't it? So that's one of the things about the MV7 is obviously you've got the sort of built-in control of it, which is not a patch on, I'm sure, the actual hardware device. But it'd be interesting to know, like, if you weren't going to use the SM7B with the Rodecaster, I've not really looked properly into it. I suppose what I need to do is I need to go and watch Podcastage with Bandrew. We were talking about him the other day, Rich as well. But yeah, Podcastage is a great YouTube channel where he just does all audio microphone related stuff, so I should probably go and have a little look at that. But yeah, it does sound really great. You sound great with it, and you too, Paul. You've got a great voice on it as well. So Stream Deck for the win. Of course, because Rich, yeah, you do your show with Amber, so yeah, definitely I can see the way that you need that. Replicate it with an MV7 and a Motive. Yeah, the Motive app is pretty decent, and it's also good on the mobile as well. I don't know if you've played around with that, Keely, but it is good that you can just plug it into your mobile and get all of the MV7 goodness on the mobile. Unfortunately, it's a bit disappointing that Apple don't allow you to use that in FaceTime, so you can't use it for that. There's some little thing about using third-party microphones with Apple that they won't let you do it. You can use one that's plugged in over a obviously the jack, if you've got one with a headphone jack on, that, you know, like earphones with a headphone microphone built in, but not the MV7, unfortunately. But you can use it with other applications, so it can go into the phone or the iPad or whatever. The Rodecaster Pro voice settings that do the magic. Yeah. So who knows? Who knows? What I mean by that is, who knows? Maybe it will still find its way onto my desk. But yeah, Motive apps is pretty good, and I do like the relative portability of it as well. You know, that I'll probably take it with me when I go to Bangkok, because I've got some meetings and things like that. Although, having said that, no, I won't do that at all. What I will do, I've not really used this. I've used it for some Zoom stuff, but I have got a little the Rode lavalier mic, so I'll be taking that one, I think. This will be total overkill. Don't need to be carting this around with me. But this is pretty good, actually, the audio quality from that. And then I've just got a little USB dongle. So this one can have headphones and the mic go into it. So that one plugs into my USB socket. And then just this one with headphones is a massive improvement, certainly on the built-in mic. But also using audio hijack. That is, that can really improve it. In fact, look at that, just in time. Great minds think alike, Jeff. Already have audio hijack for processing. Yeah. So, so with this, the Shure, I am just using the Motive stuff, but I suppose I should really play around more with the audio hijack stuff. I haven't actually played with it in terms of you know, all the compression and stuff like that, but you're totally right. I should actually dig into that a lot more than I have done. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that lavalier mic though, it's quite impressive, the audio quality that you do get, considering it's obviously such a tiny little thing. But it is it's certainly a lot more effective than even larger, technically, microphones, but they just aren't as good quality. Well, we are quite far off the topic of consistency, aren't we? I suppose we're talking about consistent audio, though. So let's just say that. Yeah. Don't let Doc know. At least we're not mentioning loopback as much as we used to, so that'll keep him happy. Yeah, but it's one of those things, isn't it? The whole gear thing, it's like where do you draw the line? And I don't think my audio is too bad as it is. So is it really something that I need to focus on in terms of improving or not? There is always room for improvement. I definitely need to sort out my camera though, and get that up to scratch, because that is definitely an area for for improvement. That is right. Audio hijack's always obviously a computer workload rather than a specific piece of hardware. Definitely better to offload stuff where you can, I guess. Although I suppose with the Macs these days, it's not a major drain compared to the video stuff. That is a very good point, Keely, you've made there. Not that surprises you, because I know that all of your points are very good. It does indeed do that. So it's creating the settings, and then it is then in the microphone itself, rather than being done on the computer. You're not on drugs. That is, well, you may well be, but that is still a fact. That is indeed the way that it works. So it's not like a separate app that's having to do the processing on the computer itself. Yeah, I've lost my train of thought once again. I definitely need that little squirrel sound effect. The plan for the next week, though, just to wrap up with that, because I think I'm pretty much done with being consistent or talking about consistently. I've been consistently talking about consistence for the past hour and a half, or inconsistently talking about it, because I've gone off on various different tangents, but I am shorting out beep boop. Next week, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-record some videos this week, just to get a few, this weekend, just to get a few in the can, as it were. And then I'll try and do a couple on the road, because that will be interesting, and just to see how that works with different setups. And it's just one of those things, getting out of my comfort zone as well. Michael, you've got Rode mics with Focusrite and on Windows, and the new Beacon mic looks to be able to replace all that gear. What is that? I'm not sure what that is. I'm going to have to do a quick search. What's that? Beacon mic. B-E-A-C-N. Or is that? Ah, I see. Never heard of that. Beacon builds world-class studio equipment for everybody. Do they now? Indeed. Let's have a little look then while we're here, because I've not actually heard of this. Beacon, an audio controller for everybody. An audio controller for content creators. Well, hey, I'm a content creator. I create content. Do you know what? I'd never even heard of that. Is that a new thing? Let me have a little look. Be interesting to. I'm gonna have to dig into this. Otherwise, you're just going to be watching me scrolling and searching. That looks pretty nice. I obviously don't know what it does or how it works, but certainly as a device, it looks quite nice. I'm going to have to look into that. So is that 4 audio inputs? And right. $149, $199. Mute. Right, I'm going to have to investigate this because I don't know what it is, but it looks nice, and that's worth a look for me. So I will have a little look at that. Certainly if it's going to replace a lot of your what's Keely telling me now? Hang on a minute. It said, "Oh, Canada." Did it now? Where was it? Where was that? I don't know where that is, Keely. Let's have a little look. Oh, there it is. We aren't just headquartered in Canada. They're designed and assembled in Canada too. We worked hard to use local and reputable partners for the production of Beacon Mix and Beacon Mix Create. There we go. There we go. We've got it. Epos Fox did a chat thing on it. Right, I'm gonna have to investigate this because it does look kind of cool. That does. I'm just saying, Keely, that aesthetic would not look out of place on your desk. That is pretty cool. Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, on that note, I think I'm in need of a little bit of oil for my circuitry. Do you put does C3PO put oil on his circuitry? I'm not sure, but I certainly need another coffee. So be consistent, be consistent, be consistent. We'll just leave it on that. And the Moose Mics and Moose Mixer. Rightio, folks. I am with that. I am going to sign off and go and read a little bit more about this new bit of gear that I don't need, but will still be putting on my wish list. So for those watching on the replay, don't go anywhere, though. You don't go anywhere. You stay right where you are because there is plenty more stuff coming up next. But for all of you lovely people who have been here, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you all. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all soon.